Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Laying It Out. I'm your host, Scotti Dempsey.
And I'm Chelsea Pockets. And for you YouTube watchers out there, I spun my chair around. And now you can see my desk. So it's slightly better background than my bed, which had like one pillow on it.
Yeah, and the lighting's a little better. Yeah.
Well, it's a little better. It's still like, I shouldn't have worn a hat today because the overhead light casts a shadow on my face. But my hair needs some help. Today, it's a little greasy. So we're going that.
It's all about the fit, the look for the pod, for the YouTube fans. Anyway,
this hat is like almost 6 years old.
So our interview lined up for today is with our new ultimate friend, Zakk Mabrey. He founded his own ultimate frisbee swag gear company called P1 Sports. And I met Zakk because he was one of the D3 men's reporters at Nationals, and I was the sole D3 women's reporter. So me, him, and Mike Ball were a little power trio that spent all day on the fields together, living, breathing, talking, writing, watching D3 Ultimate. So we really got to bond over that 4-day weekend. Super happy to keep in touch with him, have him on the pod, and learn about his company and his deep passion for Ultimate.
Yeah, no, Scotti says in the interview, I think Zakk is not the only person, but Scotti said as she's grown more, she's found people that like Ultimate more than I do, and Zakk is one of those people. So
yes,
that's an impressive feat.
Yes.
Also, the reason I know Zakk is because the last day of college nationals, I was like, Scotti, I want to hang out. I want to see you. She's like, well, I'm drinking with the D3 crew. Want to roll through? And then I had 2 double vodka cranberries. And Zakk and I talked about cats. So that's good.
You became best friends. Yeah, it was perfect. It was a match made in heaven. So that's a super fun interview that we have lined up for you guys. As we always do, Pockets, any personal updates for our listeners?
I do have it's not super personal update, but for anyone in the Philly area that is listening, I am now becoming a 76ers fan because, Scotti, this is like the only thing you know about basketball. CJ McCollum was traded to the Pelicans. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm a Trailblazers fan solely because of CJ McCollum, Lehigh alum. And now I can't be a Trailblazers fan, but I'm okay with that because it's really hard to watch games when they are on the West Coast and I have a bedtime. So I'm going to give up that dream. Going to retire my CJ jersey in my closet. I should have worn it for this. And now I'm going to become a 76ers fan. So if any Philly people want to go see a game one day, hit me up because that would be fun.
Ooh, that would be fun. Or you can come to the city, and if they're ever playing the Knicks, my boyfriend lives, breathes, and dies by the New York Knicks. Loves the Knicks, and his roommate actually hosts a Knicks podcast. So that podcast is a lot bigger than ours. He actually, has listeners and fans, and they do emergency live streams for drafts and stuff. But I know actually a lot more about basketball than I did solely by hanging out in that apartment for whatever amount that I do. So unfortunately, I have become unfortunately for you, I have become indoctrinated as a Knicks fan because it seems like I should do that since I didn't have a preference.
I don't really have any team rivalries. Yeah, I don't have team rivalries. I just like watching one team, and then I get really invested. Sponge says I get invested in the characters, quote unquote, because it's I don't want to just watch for the game. I want to know the players' personal lives, and I like when there's friendships on and off the court and all that other junk. I watch sports like a weirdo. So if you like the Knicks, all I care is exactly like that. So if you like the Knicks, I am okay because you like basketball. And that's the only professional sport that I have the patience to watch.
I do like to watch basketball. It's very aesthetically pleasing. You get to watch the big men run back and forth, and they score a lot, which is like a lot more engaging than soccer, where they just kind of like are tiny little foosball players on a big field, and not much happens. So, yes, for the aesthetics reasons alone, I do like to watch basketball. I guess my personal update, I was telling you a little bit about this before we hit record. I don't know if it was the same for you, but the past week has been just absolutely hell in work. And I've just been super stressed. Like, I've been working crazy hours. It's just been like a lot on my plate, and I'm completely doubting if I want to do this career path, the classic. And my roommate has had like a super busy week at work. My boyfriend had a super busy week at work. Like, I went out to a concert that some of his friends were playing, and I was talking to like his friends that were also there to like support, because he went to high school in the city. So he's got like a bajillion friends in the city. So like I went out to see this concert, and I was talking to his friends, and they're like, oh my God, this week's been crazy at work. And I was like, what is going on? Like, why is everyone having such a crazy week at work? Like, what is it with like the second week of February that like last week of the month, like second week of February, like that it's just so insane at work. And it's like everyone's in these different industries. Like, what's going on? And this one girl looks me dead in the eye and goes, it's because Mercury's in retrograde. And I was like, dead ass? You're kidding me right now. Is it actually? And she was like, Mercury's actually in retrograde. And I was like, I do not believe you. Like, everyone always says it. Like, I know nothing about astrology. I look at my co-star every day and I get confused because it's something weird and cryptic. Today it told me to share blankets. So that means my roommate will be cuddling with me tonight when we watch the Olympics later. And I guess, like, because I'm supposed to. I got a new weighted blanket, so I did throw it on her when I brought it home. But I guess, like, factually, Mercury was in retrograde. I don't know what that means, but
I don't even know what that means.
The past couple weeks have been tough for you. Blame the planets, I suppose. I was like, someone actually said this to my face. Like, I don't know. I guess I can check that off with like a New York City bingo.
Mercury in retrograde 2022. On January 14th, Mercury will go into retrograde for the first time in 2022. During this period of Mercury, it ends February 3rd. So I don't think you had an excuse for this week.
No, so like...
What does that mean?
This is the 8th. I was talking about last week. Like, it was last weekend. It was the week before, so it was the end of the month. Mercury legitimately was in retrograde.
That was when that was the entirety of my onboarding period, basically, for my new job, where actually the days seem to go by very quickly because I'm enjoying this job very much. So I think I had it on easy mode, because what do you do in like the first month of a job? You're doing all this like training and stuff. You're not actually supposed to do any actual work.
Yeah.
In the broadest sense, you can view Mercury retrograde as I cannot speak English, as the time period in which things go wrong. During this period, when Mercury appears to move backward throughout the sky, both your gadgets and your thought processes are likely to go a little haywire. Oh, apparently you're not supposed to buy any new electronics during this time. And this is an ad for, like, this article I picked on. This article I clicked on was like, so what's supposed to be done in this difficult time? And then it lists all these, like, weird $100 teas? Yeah, and creams? Why did I click on it? I'm angry. Okay.
Well, I mean, thank you for doing the research for us. Really going down that rabbit hole. But that is something that happened to me recently. So, life's been fun. This more recent week, this week that now the episode is coming out, will be very chill. Has been very chill. And I've been doing lots of crocheting. So, staying busy.
Another life update.
Yes.
No, that's good. I like that. All right. Well, those are good life updates.
Not much is new here in New York City.
And nothing is ever new in Philly. So.
Yeah, with that, as we awkwardly stare at each other, we'll just get right into the interview. We had a ton of fun with Zakk. I think you guys are going to have a ton of fun with it. He tells you where to find him, and we'll be tagging it in the description. So we'll see you then. All right, now we're back from the break with our friend Zakk Mabrey, who I had the pleasure of getting to know while reporting on D3 Nationals a couple weeks ago. I guess it was a couple months ago now. Oof. And we're here to talk about his company, P1 Sports. So, Zakk, tell us a little about yourself, about your ultimate experience, what made you fall in love with the sport, and any other fun things we need to know to help our listeners get to know you a little better.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana. I feel like everyone that plays Ultimate, like they either learned it in youth group at church or they learned it in college. I was one of those kids that learned it in church. So I think I started playing Ultimate maybe like my sophomore year of high school, when we were with the church, and then started a team at my high school after that, and then after that went on to college and I went to Indiana Wesleyan. It was our first year as a sanctioned team, my first year on campus, so it just kind of lined up perfectly. And I just kind of more than playing Ultimate, I fell in love with like the organizer side of Ultimate because like I like the community, I like getting to talk to people, I like making sure that people have a fun time. So kind of ended up doing that, and now I'm here.
Exciting. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's your personal aspect of it. What about the P1 sports side? What caused you to start that?
Yeah, so we ran D3 Midwestern Invite, which was our big tournament, and that was our fundraiser at Indiana Wesleyan. And I started, like, I just really fell in love with running tournaments. And we grew kind of more and more tournaments over the years. And then I think it was like 2 years ago, I was looking at the prices and the way that everything was set up. And like, I was paying like $15 to $20 for screen printed jerseys to sell as our tournament merch. I was like, yeah, I could probably like not go with an ultimate company and do this for cheaper. And then I started looking into it and I was like, I could probably just do this on my own and do it for cheaper. So it was just to like make sure that I was running a tournament that was making money a little bit better, which is cool. Like getting my profit margins higher. So it started as like that kind of business decision. And then one of my friends who's captaining a college team texted me and they were like, hey, like who should we get jerseys from? And I was like, and I like thought about it and I was like, I mean, I could probably do it for you guys. So, we did it and, now it's a thing.
Wow. So it sounds like you found it by accident, but that's still really
Stumbled into success.
Yeah, it was kind of an accident. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, yeah, we talked a lot about P1 and all the different jerseys that you did that we saw represented at Nationals when we were in California together. So what like went well founding the company? What was difficult? And like, what is your business pitch now that like it's a thing? Like what differentiates P1 from the other ultimate Frisbee companies?
Yeah. So in terms of what went well, I think that I have really good quality products. I have, really nice shirts, but my shorts I think are the best part. And I just started doing joggers. I just put out joggers for the first time like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And they're so nice. They're the comfiest pants I've ever worn. So like product quality, great, cool, awesome. In terms of struggles, I learned that I hate setting up a website. So my website's not great. You can just email me. We'll talk about it and get it done that way. I need to learn how to set up a website and I really need to learn how to set up an online store. So it's just kind of those things that have been the struggles. But like now that we're here, I think that one thing that sets us apart is that we are community forward. So P1 Sports isn't just the clothing apparel. It is the events that we run. So D3 Midwestern Invite. We usually do college mixed regionals. We usually do a handful of other tournaments as well throughout the year. So I think I'm hosting like 5 to 6 tournaments. So all of that money and all that funding kind of gets pooled together. It lets us do cool things. Like we worked with Missouri State Women's Ultimate Team, and we ran a fundraiser for them, and I think they made like $600 or $700. $1 from every single item that gets sold goes to our women's scholarship fund. So we use that money to offset the bid fees for women's teams to attend our tournaments. So the goal is to run a women's tournament with zero bid fees for women's teams. But we're really, really pushing towards doing first and second year women's teams getting at least half price on their bid fee, because I know that that's a barrier to entry and we want to try and get rid of that. So I know that we're letting Missouri State women come to Midwestern Invite for free, but it also kind of like lets us offset some other women's costs for events that we do. And I think that that's like kind of the big selling point for me, at least from a community aspect. That's the kind of stuff that we're trying to get into.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I bet Pockets, who, when she captained our team, especially for a women's team, that type of like free bid fee motivation would definitely be something that you would be excited about, right?
Yeah. It also just like helps like getting new players into the sport, especially for women's teams. I feel like sometimes like there's freshmen that like, oh, I don't know if I want to play yet, like in the fall, and then they see what the club dues are, and that could be like a big negative. So if there was that like bid fee help, that would actually be a lot of help for some like struggling teams, especially like the D3 teams. But I like that a lot.
Yeah. At Indiana Wesleyan, we were a D3 team, and because of the tournaments that we hosted, we actually didn't have any club dues at all for our players. You had to pay your USAU membership, and then you had to buy your jerseys. But in terms of like going to tournaments, you didn't have to pay. We didn't have to pay for housing, anything like that, which was really cool. And I think that there's a lot of people I know that me personally, and I got into college, and they would have been like, all right, now it's time to commit to this. You've got to pay $150 after having played for 2 months. I don't think I would have done it. So, I want to try and put other teams in that position.
Yeah, no, definitely. The money thing is like a big helpful aspect of it. You mentioned like the tournament directing stuff, and just me personally, I was wondering like what like actually goes into organizing a tournament like that, because at a high level concept, I feel like it's like getting fields, getting a trainer, getting all that stuff, but I think a lot of the ultimate community doesn't really know what work actually goes into that.
Yeah. I mean, so we always have to check in with our field site and see what their insurance is, and that's probably one of the biggest things. Like, what insurance do you need us to have to use that field site and use it appropriately? But also, there's so many small details, like figuring out how you're going to set up your food tent, figuring out how you're going to have volunteers there the whole time, and what are you going to do for your volunteers to make sure that they're there, because they're volunteers, they're not getting paid. So can we do something cool? Like, I did special edition jerseys for volunteers one year. We've done a handful of other things. So just figuring out how to put everything together, because on top of all of that, you've got to put in scores at the end of the day. So when I think about running a tournament, like really the tournament itself, I'm working for like 40 hours just in the 2-day weekend, because you always have to be on call in case a team drops or anything like that. But, processing payments and making sure that all your money gets to the right account so that you can pay for your fields or pay for your merchandise or pay for anything like that. Really, yeah, it's just, to me, running a tournament is just like sitting down and being willing to grind. I don't know that it's necessarily hard or anything that anyone can't do. You just have to put yourself in a position that you have the time to sit down and do it. I've been trying for years to like track the total number of hours that I spend on Midwestern Invite. But it's an impossible task. Even the small things like, I've got a team that I'm getting signed up for the tournament right now, and we're like 6 emails in to like logistics of if they can come. So like I'm spending like 2 or 3 hours just like recruiting this one team to make sure that they can come and have a good time. So I think that that's kind of the stuff that gets overlooked, is just like the time commitment to it.
Yeah. It's a pursuit. It's a passion pursuit, isn't it? It's not, you can't be in it for the money.
Yeah. We make decent money with Midwestern Invite and some of our other tournaments, but that's because we got really lucky with our field site. And we're working with like the state of Indiana, our CVB, which helps, bring events to that portion of the state. And they give us some money and some fundraising efforts and some grant money and stuff like that. That makes it so it's actually a profitable pursuit that I want to keep doing. So it's not like I'm doing it for the money, but the money is nice at the end of the day.
It makes it easier because, like, I think a lot of ultimate related jobs, I guess, end up being volunteering. And that's fun at first because it's like your passion thing, but then you can quickly burn out if there's not like some profit at the end of it.
Yeah. So this is where we wanted to get into the meat of the interview and the fun part, because I've been saying I wanted to do a swag episode for a really long time, and we spent so much time talking about jerseys and, you know, what worked and what didn't while watching games from the sidelines. So what advice do you have for anyone that comes to you to put together a team order for gear? What would make your life easier? And then, I mean, we can play around with talking about any advice that you have, and then anything that I have come up with being swag captain for my own team. And exciting that I'm also going to do swag for my club team this coming year too. So we can get into that, the fun design stuff that I think everyone always loves to have an opinion on.
Yeah. No, I think so we really do like when someone comes to us and they're like, hey, this is kind of the basic idea that we have. Have fun with it and turn it into something cool, which is like, that's nice. I do enjoy that freedom and getting to put something together with like a color wave that you give me. But sometimes like not having enough of an idea is actually much worse. You know, there's too much freedom sometimes, and we have no clue what to do with it. Like a team, so I'm doing a slow pitch softball team here in Indiana, and they sent me their jersey design, and they were like, could you also just come up with one that incorporates our team name? And their team name's just Fuego, and so, you know, I don't know what we're doing there. We're going to figure that out sometime soon. You know, and it was like, I don't care what it looks like, just incorporate our team name. That's cool. And there's a million ways we could go. So yeah, at least having some sort of broad idea of what you have goes a long way in helping out. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, is having some sort of idea fleshed out for what you want.
Yeah, I do think when I've done swag on my end, it's important to know the vibe of the team that you're designing for. So it's like, okay, we have this, like I have a name and I have even like an idea of a theme. But then like in the theme of Fuego, like, is it fire? Is it like spicy chili peppers? Like, is it like rockets? Like, could you do it space themed? Like, you don't know. So it's easy. It was easy when I was on the team. So. Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say sometimes also having like a team culture can also limit you in bad ways too. I'm just thinking about like our college team, Lehigh. We had so many designs that were like probably like 10 years old. I feel like we have the I-beams and we have the L train. And it's like, I feel like we can't get away from that. Like you tried, no. I think you tried doing a galaxy theme thing because the women's team is Gravity, and it just like didn't latch on, and we're stuck to these like old designs, which are cute, but it's like, what's our team doing? I feel like the Lehigh teams have like limited swagability or whatever.
Lehigh is stuck in its tradition for sure. And I mean, I sent Zakk my Galaxy design, which I did that with B Ultimate when they did the free captains jerseys. And I mean, I was also hurt by the pandemic because I wanted to come back, but I couldn't, obviously, because I was still doing school remote the following year. But one of the current swag captain did do a different like Gravity space themed spinoff. So I'm going to be selfish and say I liked my jerseys better, but hers are cool in like a very different way. So I think that's also comes down to just our different design aesthetics. But
no, Scotti did send me hers and it was awesome. So
thank you. I was so proud of it, and B did a great job. Do you have artists on your team now with P1, or do you do the art yourself?
So we have two artists, Cam and this guy named Mimsy, two of our friends, and I'm not great at art. honestly, like at least the technical aspects of doing it on Illustrator or Photoshop, not great at it. I kind of like, if you have a design, I can make the alterations to it. I can like change it, fix it up, make it clean, make it printable. But if you want me to do something from scratch, I'm gonna give it to someone else to do, just because it's not my style. But also like Cam is like a recent college graduate and one of my best friends, and I wanted to help him out and give him something to put on his resume, and he was down for that. So it helps, take some off of my plate so that I can focus on other things. Like we just got a pretty big soccer contract. We're getting into slow pitch softball. We're doing more than just ultimate. So being able to not have to spend 4 or 5 hours working on a piece of artwork and passing it on to someone else goes a long way.
Absolutely.
I like that you're also not just limiting yourself to ultimate, because I feel like sometimes just focusing on ultimate could be a little bit detrimental to a company.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool that you're branching out.
Yeah, it helps. So honestly, I don't really want to make that much money off of the ultimate community. So it helps me give like lower and lower prices to the ultimate community when I make a big sale outside of the ultimate community, because I know that money can be sparse, especially for college kids. So I think we have a pretty focused demographic. We want to help like college kids, women's teams, younger college teams, those kinds of things that, where funding is tight. We want to be that budget option that steps in. So we're able to do our jerseys at $20 for a fully sublimated jersey. Or, I think I had at one point I was able to go like $20 for my fully sublimated shorts, track pants, things like that. We're able to do cool stuff, and we're able to do it for pretty cheap and keep it high quality because we balance with everything else that we're doing.
Cool. Yeah, so we were talking about doing like laying it out swag, and in terms of like the design process with that, I sent you like just our logo. So is that like where do you go from that? Let's say you get a logo and like maybe a color palette. Like where do you take that when you're designing?
Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah. So I really liked your logo, but mainly because it's like that retro old school type of feeling that it gives me, like an old school diner. So kind of that's like the vibe of the logo is going to give us some direction there. And then your color palette is sick. So it gives us kind of a really good starting base. So we're probably going to go, I think you even sent kind of like an idea of what you had before, and it had like some old brick in the background, and that was really cool. We like to do textures and stuff like that, but in terms of art and how I like jerseys, I'm kind of a minimalist, honestly.
Me too.
I like something that's really simple, really clean. So we're probably going to go in that direction. We did some jerseys for Minneapolis Mallard over the summer, and they were just like this nice, really nice color of blue. Showed off kind of their color scheme and things like that. And when you've got a sick color scheme like you guys do, we're gonna try and make that the key piece is that color scheme and that old school look. So,
but I'm torn between like a minimalist design and then also just like throwing color on a jersey, because I'm like, it's ultimate frisbee. It has to look crazy.
No, my hot take for the episode.
Jersey.
My hot take for the episode is full sub can go so wrong, and I think like there's such thing as too much, and I feel like sometimes I see these ultimate jerseys that have like space cats with laser eyes, like shooting hamburgers and like rainbows, and I'm like, pick one. Because I can't even read what your team is.
What you just described is also like peak 2010 internet garbage with like Nyan Cat or whatever. So that's also just a little cringe.
Yes.
Do you remember Nyan Cat? That just like hit me with what you described.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. I was exactly thinking about that with the pixel art. Yeah. See, you can do vintage well, but which I think actually I don't think that's vintage. That's like retro. But
yeah, I think there's certainly like, and we see it all the time in Ultimate. There are teams that have the wildest possible jersey, and it kind of hurts my eyes, honestly. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
So like, rather than using full sublimation to like put all these colors and do a million different things on, I like to use the sublimation or the full sub to get textures and details and things like that involved in the background of the art. Because I honestly, I might have a jersey in my closet with a neon cat on it and lasers coming out of the eyes. So
I'm so glad that I read your mind.
yeah. So like it's still, and there's a place for it. Like I think that it's cool sometimes, but
Wildwood.
a lot of times teams are going overboard.
Yeah.
Wildwood's a good place for it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to see that on a college field.
No, I'm thinking there's some like Lehigh Valley people that they have like a fruitcake themed Wildwood jersey, and it's a lot, but it looks good because it's for Wildwood. Wildwood is supposed to be like that.
Yeah, it's something. The fruitcake jersey, that's something. So I guess we kind of got into it, but I mean, even when you're designing for like, or when we're thinking about like the standards for like nationals or for college teams or teams that are like actively, you know, competing outside of the hellhole that is Wildwood. What are some don'ts for designs? Like, especially we're talking about like with whites or like lights that can like go kind of wrong. Like, what are some things that you would encourage people to avoid?
Yeah. I'm going to kind of rag on the Great Lakes for a minute. There's a certain D3 team in our region that their white jersey is a strip of white at the bottom and then a strip of black in the middle and then a strip of red at the top. And like, honestly, I'm kind of questioning if it's a white. So when it's with your whites, especially, always like minimalist designs. Super, I don't want a ton of extra colors on there. Looks so bad. And teams can't differentiate if that's a white or a dark. On your darks, some contrasting color is good, but once you get to like 3 or 4 contrasting colors, it's bad. Pick your team's 3 colors and stick with that. And don't, once we get into like 4, 5, 6 colors on a jersey, unless they're just like minor details, like I did a spray paint one, like a graffiti looking jersey a couple months ago.
That's cool.
So unless it's something like that, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a Philly Color Bomb. You can find them on Twitter. They're doing cool stuff, and I made their jerseys, and they are sick. So, unless you're doing something like that, where like all the extra colors are in accents and details, really just try and like limit how many colors you're using, because you don't want to be that team that oversteps and is going too far with the fully sublimated jersey.
What was your opinion? I noticed this a lot the last club season with all the striped jerseys. All those that seemed to be like the trend.
Pockets and I have been having a hot debate about this one.
Pinstripes are so close, like they can be good or awful. So it really just depends on what your colors are. I think back to like the NBA Christmas Day jerseys, maybe 5-ish years ago. There are some really good pinstriped ones. There was like a really good pinstriped, I think, Cavaliers jersey in there. And those are really cool. Pinstripes can definitely be classy. They should be smaller, like thinner stripes is what I'm a fan of. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And the other fad that I'm all for is like the light baby blue color that's been popping for like 2 or 3 years. That's 100% my color palette.
I love
every time I can put it on.
I love baby blue so much. I think it's like the loco jerseys. They're so pretty. It's just like the nicest little color. And I'm also biased because I think it matches my eyes well. But I love that color.
Yeah, I mean, Peep Show had like horizontal stripes, like baby blue and like a darker blue, like alternate dark that we had. I guess this was 2019 when I played. We'll send you a picture.
I loved it. It's so cute.
I did not love it. This is. They're like the sockeye.
The same color in your pinstripes.
They're like the sockeye alternate.
No, they're
like blue. Are you going to tell me that I'm wrong?
I don't like the sockeye ones, but I like the Peep Show ones. I'm wrong. You're wrong.
Because it's green and not blue.
Are disgusting. The Peep Show ones are cute. It's like a weird like seafoam green and then white. And don't they? I don't.
It's the same design though.
But the Peep Show ones, I think. But it's different colors. It's different colors. It's not
all about the color
contrasting.
theory. I love a good hot take. It looks like a
little marshmallow dream.
I don't like the pinstripes or any sort of stripes when they're the two shades of the same color. Let's just go all the way in contrast. Like, let's go, like, give me like a red and a gold. Give me like a black and a purple. Don't give me a blue and a different blue. I'm not for that.
We're going to post a poll. We're posting a poll on Twitter, and we're settling this. I'm angry now. I love the Peep Show jerseys. The Peep Show, like, normal dark looks exactly like the Laying It Out logo.
Yeah, we are kind of copying it. The Peep Show normal dark is like the cotton candy neon colors because Peeps are made in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, like all like the marshmallow Peeps. So like that's why it's like Peep Show, haha. And then like the girl that designed it is a freaking genius and did it like the neon like a Peep Show like sign, like retro like that. So same idea. We did definitely send that design. I'll send you a picture of it, but I did send the design to Luce when she did our logo because I was like, we like neon and we like these colors. So a little similar for sure. All right. Pockets, do you have any other questions or should we let Zakk take it away with any other projects that you're working on, anything else you'd like to pitch, and where can we find you, P1 Sports, or the Midwestern Invite?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm working on D3 Midwestern Invite. That's coming up March 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever that weekend is.
Yeah.
My dates are so confused because I'm actually going to be running 4 tournaments in 5 weekends. So we're going to be kind of busy. 2 smaller ones in Indianapolis. They're not really worth advertising. We're just going to pull a couple local teams and have fun. And then, but then it kind of caps off with D3 Midwestern Invite that March weekend. And, that's going to be cool. You can find us on Twitter. It's at project1_sports. And then I think it's the same on Instagram, but we have 2 posts on Instagram. I'm not that good at Instagram, honestly.
Neither are we.
It's so much harder to get content on Instagram. So, but yeah, we try and like show off jerseys and teams that are doing their fundraisers or their fan stores. USC Men's Ultimate is doing one right now. They've got some sick gear. So pick something up from them. But yeah, catch us on Twitter, project1_sports. I've been trying to give out some free stuff over the last couple of weeks because I got extra stuff laying in my bedroom that I want to get rid of. So, maybe you'll find your way into getting something for free.
Always fun. Free stuff.
Yeah, we love free stuff. But that's all the questions that we have. Thanks so much for joining us. It was so fun to talk swag and talk about all the projects that you're involved with within Ultimate. I think that it's always crazy when I keep meeting people in Ultimate. I'm like, I think you might like Ultimate more than Pockets likes Ultimate, and that's hard to do. So we do.
Ultimate's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And we'll direct people to you when we tweet out this episode.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Zakk, for joining us on this episode of Laying It Out. We had a ton of fun interviewing you. And for any subscribers, make sure that you check us out in the PS zone where we bring Zakk back and have a ton of fun with our little jersey design brainstorm.
I had an idea for my Winter League team. I had a team name idea. No one on the team liked it, but I still want to design a jersey for it. So we verbally go through that process. Unfortunately, we don't have a finished product actually to show you, but it's still a lot of fun. Scotti almost Peter Pants laughing, and then also came up with a really unfortunate nickname for me. So
I did. So yeah, definitely subscribe to Ultiworld. Check us out over there. If you want to get in contact with us, we haven't done this in a little bit, but realized we probably should. We are on Twitter at Laying It Out with underscores between the words. You can find our personal Twitters through that. You can email us at layingitout@ultiworld.com if you have any thoughts, feelings, questions, life advice, for us that you'd like to share, any episodes maybe you'd like to see. We're on Instagram at Laying It Out with periods between the words. We're very bad at posting. It's really hard to post content on a visual media of what is generally only audio. So no, don't have high expectations over there. But thank you to everyone that actually did follow us recently. I did see that. And yeah, subscribe to Ulti World and follow us if you'd like to keep up with our goings-ons and any updates for episodes, because we should be hopefully getting some more polls and stuff out on the Laying It Out Twitter. That said, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Laying It Out. I've been Scotti Dempsey.
I'm Chelsea Pockets.
And we'll catch you on the flip.
They say I'm acting crazy, but I just wanna lie in the sun.